How smooth is that thing?
Pretty smooth. It's got a nice grip too, man. That grip texture really bites down.
Smith & Wesson Shield Plus being tested, nothing fancy project. We have a Jardine sighting, ladies and gentlemen.
It's good to be back.
Very rare,
Yeah,
a Jardine sighting.
Yeah, well, not since Operation Valkyrie, I don't think.
It's been over a year.
We've hung out a little bit, but not out shooting. So.
Yeah. Talk to us. What is going on in the Jardine world? First up.
Let's just talk about the world a little bit.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you.
When we started Valkyrie, it was, we were right in the start of COVID. That was just happening, and here we are kind of COVID-free. And look around. You can see everybody rushing out to do their recreating.
There's no ammunition to be had.
That's the whole thing.
I'm shooting out of stash.
Yeah.
Because I knew this was coming.
We all are. It's even reloading. I can't find anything to really reload with. It's reasonable. So yeah, we're post-COVID.
So take us back to Valkyrie. What was it like back then when we were in the desert? And we may have talked about it in the series. Go watch the series.
So Valkyrie, we went out. It was Easter weekend. So it was a busy weekend. But
yeah.
The area we were at was about 80 miles from the valley.
Yeah.
And we had, I don't know, normally when we do these drives, we don't run into anyone. I mean, man, you get out a few miles out like this. You might see a few people out in this area, but out where we were at,
it was remote.
Dude, remote, and there were people everywhere on the way out there. So yeah, it was different times. People were trying to get out of the house, I think, because of COVID, and trying to do anything they could do because things were just starting to shut down. So yeah, a little bit different time. Now that we're opening up, gas prices are crazy right now, and you can't find ammo. So I think that's going to hinder. It's going to hinder what you see out here. That's why we're not seeing anybody. We actually drove this road. We talked about it on the way out here. Not seeing one vehicle all the way out. We drove a long ways out on this dirt road and didn't see a vehicle. I think that's the first time that's happened.
And it's July 4th weekend.
July 4th weekend. We should be seeing a lot of people. So
this is weird. We thought this area, which is pretty accessible, relatively speaking, would be, I see, group over here, group there, group there. Nope.
Yeah, it's I think it's more of a sign of the times than anything else. So.
At least politically, the country's going in the right direction, don't you think?
Yeah, we had our political rant on the way out here. It's
multiple rants.
It's a scary time. It's a scary time. Most of you guys watching this, you're watching, here in our state, we've been fortunate not to have to deal too much with restrictions as far as people coming after our Second Amendment rights. But nationally, man, there's a big push. You see this administration, they're digging deep, and they're going to come hard. You've seen the ATF pull some stuff off. It's really a scary time. Be politically active wherever you are, man. Make sure you write your senators, write your congressmen, whatever representatives you have. Make sure your voice is heard, and man, really hold your ground, because this is going to be a fight, and we're in it for a few years at least. So
what if guys come back and they go, what difference does it make to write anybody, because it ain't making no difference, they don't listen to me, and they stole the election? What do you tell those guys?
You still have to do your civic duty and your due diligence. You think your voice isn't heard. I know I feel that way too. We're one person, right? You're one voice, but
you still got to do it
as a group and as a whole. I mean, how many gun owners are there right now in this country? 180 million.
If they were all raging political activists, we would not be in this situation.
Heard. Yes, make your voice heard. I mean, I think that's a big reason too why you don't see those things happen in a state like we're in. You got a lot of gun owners in this state.
Utah is where we're at today.
And there's no way in hell that the politicians would try and pull that, because they get thrown out of office. So just make your voice heard, do your best, and don't give up the fight. We need everybody as much as we ever have, I think, right now.
Do you think the friction of this nation has increased, and do you think it's getting more serious each year?
It's increased.
And what has done that, would you say?
So we have there's just a huge rift in the country, and it's because of political movements like Antifa and BLM. Here's my stance on it. I'm a regular guy, blue-collar working guy. I get along with everyone. I've never had an issue with a person ever in my life. because of color,
Never.
or even really political differences. I know we have our political differences, but I can live and let live.
And find common ground and concentrate on that.
Well, and if you get down to it on a lot of things, I think when a lot of people talk about maybe something that's a political issue, but they don't go into the Democrat versus Republican or left versus right. I think when you're just talking about a scenario, or even something that maybe both of you had experienced, a lot of times you come to common ground. But once you mix politics into it, or a political movement, man, there's a wall between us, and it's gotten bad, man. It's getting worse. It's just amplified.
Can I talk? I'll talk in general terms about your family. Is that okay? I won't mention specifics.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
So in Jardine's family, he has that, as a lot of you guys do, that rift going on. So he has family members that are very sympathetic with the BLM, and I call them pro-Tifa movement, and this caused a huge split in the family, and I think a lot of families are experiencing that.
It's a hard one.
And the thing is, on their side, it's not live and let live. It's I'm going to get in your face, and you either fall in line with what I believe, or I'm going to send you to a re-education camp, or do everything in my power to cancel you.
It's absolutes, where I think you take the conservative mindset, and I'm speaking from my own experience. I tend to say, hey, you and I can disagree. I can live and let live. I can have a conversation with you about our disagreements, and when it's over, it's over. I don't have to get fired up over, hey, you're wrong, I'm right, screw you.
Yeah, there's no hatred involved.
There's not. But what happens is when in my experience, coming from the other side, I get a lot of absolutes. And I hey, there's people on the right that are like that too. But I think in general, just the mindset is we're Constitution loving, freedom loving people. We're live and let live.
Hardworking, responsible, law abiding.
We're all those things. And I think a lot of people on the left are those things as well, except for when it comes to things like the political stance. When you get this political mindset, I think there's an approach, a militant approach that's taken over on the liberal left-leaning side that is just, it's impossible to have a really good, down-to-earth, no feelings hurt type conversation and come to a resolution. It's like, I'm right, you're wrong. And when you have those black and white absolutes,
battle lines,
it's very hard to, you can't compromise.
Well, let me tell you something. Them not even ever having talked to you, if they were to see you dressed like this, you're automatically a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny here.
No,
they are going to classify you as a domestic terrorist, a white supremacist, just like this.
Yep.
So substance really isn't part of the evaluation. It's only a political movement to change our form of government and to bring everybody under the umbrella of communism. That's what we're seeing. And people are finally seeing that. Years I've been talking about it in TMP, and they're like, "Oh man, you're so off base. You talk about communism. What do you think about it? What do you think about it now? What do you think about it now?"
What you're seeing now is there's a lot of indoctrination that are, a lot of young people think socialism is awesome.
It's awesome, they say.
I've got some family that's late teens, early 20s, so you get talking to some of those guys, and I'm like, hey, I don't see the problem with socialism, man. Socialism's great. Everybody's got a job, everybody's making money, everybody's got a vehicle. It's unbelievable, because just one generation ago when I was a kid, man, communism was, that was the evil empire, man. That's who we were fighting. That was the face of the enemy of freedom.
And your generation still had a knowledge of what that meant.
Yeah.
Rationing of common goods, meat rationing, gas rationing.
Well, we saw the Soviet Union.
Long lines.
Yes.
Yeah, how did it work out in East Germany and the Soviet Union? Don't you wish you could time transport those individuals to live under that system for at least a year?
Let's look at how all that stuff come about. You look at the start of communism in Russia, the start of communism in China, the millions and millions of people that died through the overtaking of power through these communist dictators. And socialism, all socialism is, it's just a step to communism.
It's a softer form of communism.
It is. It's a step that goes that direction. Once you give power to your government or to the officials, people in charge, they're going to take and run with it. When they know that they have absolute power, they're not going to give it up. So we're in a fight, man, and we have to really stay together and let our voices be heard. Stay politically active. The people you talk to, hold your ground. You don't have to be.
Don't be apologetic.
Yeah. You
Do
don't
not
have
apologize
to,
for
you don't
anything.
have to say,
I say kind of get in their face.
Well,
The time now is to fight.
They're going to come at you, and if they're going to come at you and say, "I'm right, you're wrong," don't back down and let them have their way. They're not going to want to argue facts. That's one thing
You cannot change their mind.
Yeah, there's no arguing facts. They have to have their own experience, something that's going to hopefully change their mind down the road. But
Food rationing for 1 year would probably help.
Which
gasoline rationing for a year.
But we have a lot of bad things happening. Look at the gas prices. Look at that. Was it back east?
All since Biden took office.
Yes. He shut down our pipeline. He shut down
Keystone XL shut down.
It's a nightmare, dude. And then not only
but that's all part of the Green New Deal, don't you know?
Well,
so they want to morph us into that non-existent alternative energy that still to this day has not been able to carry the load of society.
California.
Solar, wind,
California.
hydro. They're great. I'm all for them, but they cannot provide enough electricity.
They're not the primary. We still have to have our oil production. Why would you want to send that production overseas?
We've done that.
I know. Keep it here. Keep Americans employed. Let's keep everything. Not everything. Let's keep our production on oil and goods like that. Let's support ourselves. Let's not send that overseas and support countries that hate us. There's another point I was going to make just a second ago.
I got a question for you while you're thinking.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like you've stayed the same and society has completely changed and left you in the dust, and that you feel isolated and weird now, and they're pointing at you going, "You're the problem, you're the problem"? Do you feel that way?
So, yeah, I think in the last year and a half, I don't feel like I've really changed much. But man, I look around and just, you turn the news on, that's probably the first mistake. You watch the news and you see all the issues with political activism, riots. I mean, Minneapolis,
critical race theory.
Critical race theory is another one. That's another thing that's just, it's just crazy, man. I mean, you're teaching people. So let's go back. As a kid, I learned, character, right? Character is what
Martin
matters.
Luther King.
Exactly. We'd go through the
judge a man by the content of his character, not the color of his skin, which we've all been doing for several generations now.
We'd go through his speech and we would talk about it, and I'm in complete agreement.
Yeah.
Guy's color doesn't matter.
Correct.
So what we have now is we're teaching children, this critical race theory is teaching kids to color. Color is the most important thing, and everything else is secondary. And there's no way out of it. If you got kids in school and they're gonna implement this, you're gonna be indoctrinated. I mean, the kids can't get away from it. So yeah, I look around, to your question, I look around and I see things happening around me. I don't feel like I've changed. I feel like I'm the same guy I was 10 years ago. I still try and like and respect people for who they are. And I feel like I've had, at least from our media and our politicians are certainly pointing the finger at people like myself with my political views, my live and let live philosophy, my constitutionalism. All those things are under attack right now. And
belief in the founding principles of this nation, the founding fathers, all that good stuff, all that's under attack and has been for years now.
Yes, well,
and it's actually made inroads now.
It's really amplified right now. It's in your face. So it's
astounding the corporate entities that have fallen behind this. Basically, every corporation is in line with this current zeitgeist.
Yeah,
100%. And I could give you stories, but I'll save it for another video.
Well, but that's a big reason why this has taken hold. They have, all social media entities are 100% behind this. And man, yeah, huge companies. So you're seeing commercials. You're seeing, what was it? Coca-Cola has gone woke.
Yep.
Lots of companies have come out and they're, woke. And
every single one, basically. I can't think of
all
one
the big
except
ones,
My Pillow.
Yeah, My Pillow.
That has stood its ground on American, traditional American values.
He's been nothing but attacked, and he's done...
Sued, attacked.
He's said and done nothing wrong. All he said is, I'm going to hold to my values. I'm a God-loving, God-fearing, freedom-loving American, and he's been attacked.
I dare question the election results, which makes him a radical in today's world.
Yeah, if you
How dare you do that? You'll be banned if you do it.
Yeah, but we got 4 years of the questioning of the election results under Trump. Remember Russiagate and all that stuff for 4 years.
Multiple impeachment attempts with no evidence.
Yep. I mean, billions of taxpayer dollars put into that whole shenanigans
Yeah.
of the investigation and everything else. I mean, what a joke. And then here we are, 1 month after the election, you question election results. You're a domestic terrorist or you're a white supremacist. I mean, they just label us with names.
Nazi.
Nazi.
They love 6 January. Even though there were no weapons there, it was just a bunch of grandmas and some goofballs, to be honest, doing goofball things.
Hey, look,
but they love that, and they springboarded off of that to do what you've seen done.
Sure.
To basically demonize every single conservative and that you are an insurgent, and we're going to use the U.S. military against you. True or false?
True. So it was a dumbass thing to do on their part.
Sure it was.
Let's look at Portland. Portland has been under siege for how long?
A year.
I mean, we're
Over a
talking
year.
under siege, man.
Federal buildings,
Yes.
lasers in the eyeballs of officers, blinding
this
them.
This is Antifa and BLM doing this. And what's happened over there? You don't see that you don't see people getting arrested and prosecuted. I mean, these guys are getting free reign. Minneapolis is another one.
They burnt down Minneapolis,
to the ground,
torched it.
and that doesn't get any of the traction, any of the publicity, or any of the legal ramifications that these people on January 6th had to deal with. So it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
But
God
they
help us
sent
all.
down like 7 FBI agents down to that racetrack of Bubba Wallace, wasn't that guy's name? And they found out that the garage pool of his NASCAR
looked
garage
like a noose.
actually was not a noose.
Yeah,
They sent down multiple FBI agents to investigate that farce.
Yeah, and here's the other thing to that. That's a front page story. You heard about that for weeks. I mean, it was.
It strengthens the narrative that this country is systemically racist.
That's the whole thing. There's a concerted effort where the storylines have to jive among all of our media to push a narrative. That's what I'm seeing. I mean, I can't even. I mean, I always tried to get a little bit of everything from the news, right? I'd tune into CNN to see what they were saying, even though I knew they were full of shit.
I don't. I've been done with CNN for years.
I used to. This was something I used to do. I would tune in, get a point of view, and see what they're saying. Flip over to Fox News, see what they're saying. Make my own conclusion from what I could see in the world. And now CNN's full of shit. Even Fox News, man.
Fox News is lost. They're gone.
The things that I'm seeing from there, they don't fit the reality of what I'm seeing in my world every day.
You're not alone. There's millions and millions and millions of people like us that feel exactly the same way. I read a comment on Gab, which is outstanding. The guy said, all that it took for me to become a radical in today's society is to not change. I'm the same person I've always been. I've always believed in God, country, everything you just enumerated. And he goes, since I don't and will not abandon those values, I'm considered all those names that you just said. Unless you go lockstep and start goose-stepping with the current feelings in this country, look out. They're coming for you.
I'm telling you, dude, it's
in every way they can.
The woke mindset, man. It's a scam. It's awful that you can't be a free-thinking American in today's society and not get chastised for it. It's dark times, dude. Like I said, we have to stay together. That's another thing is I feel like the media as a whole, social media included, they're trying to make you feel like you're the only person. Like I'm the only person with these thoughts. These
they're really
feelings.
good at that.
They're trying to isolate us, and like I said, we got, I think it's 180 million gun owners in the country that probably have very similar mindsets, very similar views. I think there's even more people than that are freedom lovers. You look at, let's go back to the election. You look at the Trump and the Biden rallies. You remember seeing any of that stuff on TV, dude? Biden had nobody at those rallies. There was no support
200
for
people.
this guy. And Trump had oceans
Cardboard
of people.
faces in the arenas.
That's right. And Trump had oceans of people. He had,
They made a point never to show that.
Never to show that. And another thing is, that will tell you, I think that's a good indicator of the support of the people in this country that have very similar political views and a mindset like we have.
Yeah.
Here in this
clown world.
Well, I was gonna say.
Say it. You can cuss.
No, I was gonna say in this community, this TMP community. I think that many of us are on the same page. If you've been tuned in, if you're on Patreon, chances are the philosophy vids, they fit you.
Yeah.
The point of view, the rants, those things, you tune in because you say, you know what? Yeah.
I'm not alone.
Maybe not we don't all have to agree on everything.
We don't have to agree on everything.
If
That's
you say
okay.
you're conservative, you don't have to agree with every single point being made. I mean,
Correct.
it's more about
The big stuff.
It's the big stuff. You're a freedom lover, check. Constitutionalist, hey, check, man. That's the basics.
I think I should
right?
be able to own guns without the government interfering.
100%. I should
Yeah.
be right. I should have a right to be secure in my property.
I should
have
be
a
able to
right
travel
life
where I want, when I want,
without
without restrictions.
Without restrictions.
I
So-
should be able to eat a burger, a 100% beef burger, without being demonized. They're actually attacking that. They want to eliminate beef production as part of the Green New Deal.
Well, look again. Companies are getting on board with that. Burger King's got a veggie Whopper.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know, man. Hey, I'm a red-blooded American. I'm gonna eat my steak.
Right.
You know, if I want to have a beer, I'm gonna have a beer. If I want to, whatever I want to do.
Let's go back to live and let live, though.
Sure.
If you want to eat your soy burger, go ahead.
Hey,
I'm
go
not
for
going to
it.
convince you, hey, you better eat my Carl's Jr. or else. I don't do, but see, that's us. We're the true live and let live. Do your own thing. Just don't mess with me. That's why the don't tread on me has such meaning to it. That's what it means. It's like, hey, just do what you want, but don't effing come over here and get in my life and demonize me or else. That's where people are. They're up before they're here. Now I think people are up here. They're off the viewfinder in rage at how they've been treated.
And I think it's getting worse. I know it's getting worse because my feelings towards things, I don't want to have the finger pointed at me. I don't want to be name called. I don't want to have somebody label me a domestic terrorist because I'm wearing.
Because you have a way to carry magazines on you in gear testing. Yeah.
It's like I said, it's something we've done for years and years and years. I've not changed. So I don't want somebody to come and point the finger at me and then all of a sudden, the other things follow behind that. You get character assassination. There's all kinds of things, and how do you recover from those things? I don't want those things to happen, and my agitation goes up. And I think a lot of people feel. I'm not gonna go get crazy or get violent or anything. The people out there as a whole, both sides, both groups, take the Antifa side, the BLM side.
Pro-Tifa, not Antifa. Pro-Tifa.
Yeah, pro-Tifa. There you go. Pro-Tifa, BLM.
They're pro-fascist.
And then you take the people that are hanging back, minding their business. These people over here, they're getting fed up with the whole thing. I mean,
they're done.
Yeah, it's an awful feeling, and you're watching your country get burned to the ground in some cities and taken over politically, and it's a hard thing to watch. So I hope, I hope things don't ever come to a head, but it's just such a hard thing.
I do too, because I love peace and I love rule of law, and I do everything in my power to maintain them.
I want to go about my daily life.
Support the political process, as you said, as long as we possibly can.
Yep.
Another question. Do you feel like in years past you'd hear some conspiracy theories, you go, those guys are jacked in the head, and nowadays you kind of go, hey, wait a second.
Dude.
There's a lot to what's been said lately. Do you kind of feel that way?
Yeah, I thought I used to listen to conspiracy theories and other things, just
like
talk
anti-globalist rants from Alex Jones.
I was going to say Alex Jones, just things.
He's turned out to be kind of a prophet.
Yeah, you tune in and listen to those things. You're like, God, that guy's crazy, man. That could never happen here, or we're never going to have these crazy things going on in the world, and here we are 10 years, maybe 5 years later from when a lot of these things have been said, and we're living through it. We're looking at
re-education camps are actually seriously being considered. They're already taking place in corporate America, actually.
It's happening in workplace.
Already, that's going on.
And we even have that, you can find that in the news. There's things happening where if you're not on board with the current political situation, if you're not in line with BLM stance on people of color, man, you may find yourself in a classroom for 40 hours in a week talking about what a bad person you are. Again, to me, it's not about color. It's about character, right? I'm not against anybody getting a job, having a job, or getting a promotion.
The doors have been wide open for decades and decades and decades.
I want the best person. Let's just do the best person for the job.
Merit-based hiring, I'm all for it.
Exactly. Let's not do it based on, we need to have, so many, like, ratios.
Yeah.
20% women, 30%
That's where we're at.
people of color. Look, man, just hire the best person for
Please.
the job. That's all I want.
If I have
Keep it on
someone
there.
operating on me, I'm getting heart surgery.
I want the best guy.
I want the absolute best. I don't want some affirmative hire
No.
that
No.
barely passed his boards or didn't pass them at all and got some strings pulled, so now he's operating on me.
I don't care who he is.
Yeah.
If he's the best guy, bring him on. It doesn't matter to me what color the guy is.
If I'm a
where
Navy
he's
SEAL, I want the best dude next to me.
Sure.
Strong. I want him to be strong, that he can carry me out if I get hit.
Person of character.
Yeah.
You want a guy that's got character and not put in
Right.
place because of some, some number or ratio or percentage they had to get to make numbers even out.
And people of all color, all races have always been welcomed and embraced in all those fields.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's really not about color. It's about transforming this country into something it isn't. And they found traction with this divisive issue that many, many people, some good, have signed off on. And they believe the narrative and they're supporting it.
It's dark times, man. We need to hold our ground.
All right, enough political stuff.
Yeah.
We're in a major drought here, so it's super, really dry. The states where we test, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, they look like this. It's the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
That is very concerning. Once again, I recommend all you TMPers, especially who live out west, have significant water supplies stored up. I would say minimum of 400 gallons. Go watch my my water storage video posted years ago. Dude, we're not in a good way here, and we're going to see some wildfires coming up.
Yeah.
And they'll blame it, of course, on you driving your freaking SUV here. This is the reason for all the wildfires, guys, right here. That Mike drives his freaking SUV. Yes, I'm kidding, but this is what they'll say. They'll again come to you and I and say, you're the reason this has happened. Never mind, it's been going on throughout all of America's history.
Yeah, we got to be careful. Make sure you got your water stored up. If you are out and about, just take precaution. We're careful where we are shooting. We're actually on the dirt. There's
No steel ammo.
There's no steel ammo. We're careful today. Nothing too crazy. No high-powered shots into the hillside or anything. So we're doing our best here.
Do you got any fun times coming up? Any good vacations that you're planning on?
Man,
Are you so busy working and just keeping your head above water?
yeah, it's been work. But yeah, we're busy. The family is busy. My family's busy, so we'll get out a little bit this summer. Nothing big planned out. Just some day trips, day getaways. Hopefully up to the mountains where there's probably another 1 million people up there. But yeah, it's going to be a busy summer.
Okay, here's what I want you to do in Patreon from now on. I want you to just write the following comment. I'm still here, guys. You don't have to say anything else. Just drop it beneath the video. Guys want to know if you're still alive. I've gotten lots of questions.
I'm always in Patreon.
He
I
is.
always like the videos. I don't know. I tell them all the time. Tell them that all the time. I'm just not a big commenter, but I will put a comment. I'm here, or
I'm still here, dudes.
Yeah,
that's all. You can just cut and paste that.
There you go.
I'm still here, dudes. That's all you need to say.
You got it.
Thumbs up that comment when you see it in Patreon. We got to get back to gear testing. We've got hours and hours of work. It's going to be about 100 degrees out here. It's hot as hell.
Yep.
I'm again shooting out of pure stash. So I stored up ammo years and years knowing this would come, and here we are. We couldn't test guns. We're shooting 45 ACP. I can't even find it anymore. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to pay the price for it.
Nope.
It's that insane.
It's too much money.
So here we are.
All right.
How have you liked what you shot so far? It's a couple 1911s.
Yeah, the 1911s have been awesome. Really enjoyed them. Both of them were nice. Guns.
Really good ones.
Yeah, nice ones. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the rant.
Hey, you're welcome.
That was a great rant. I hope you
Glad to
guys
be
liked
here.
it. Again, we don't have to agree on everything, but agree on the big stuff. You have a good home here in Patreon. I hope you feel at home with us. And you know that it's a clubhouse. I say it's a TMP clubhouse.
Sure.
I'm so busy in production and what I do in life and making all this happen. I mean, my focus is always on production, testing and production and adventures. I'm not in the community tab very often, but I am in the comments frequently. As is Jardine. Not so much. All right, let's get to work. Thanks,
All right,
dude.
let's do it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Patreon. See ya.